Where were you when you heard the news that James Gandolfini had died?
I was buying coffee in California, and my friend called me and said, Jim died. And I said, Jim who? Because the last thing I could imagine that Jim Gandolfini was dead. And he said, Gandolfini. And I stood in one place for a really long time and started calling other people. Because at that time, there were like hoaxes on the internet. There was one about me that I was dead, and there was about a lot of people. So at first I was like, well, maybe it's a hoax. And then we have the same lawyer, Jim and I. And I called him, and he said, no, I just spoke to, Jim's sister. Yeah, it was just a horror. I was just kind of shell-shocked. I'd just seen him like a week, 2 weeks before at a premiere. And it's horrible. Still horrible. I mean, I saw him 2 weeks before, and he looked great and happy and energetic and fine. Mm-hmm. I had no idea his health was bad. Yeah, I was completely blindsided by that.
Okay. How did you feel when David Chase told you that he was killing off your character of Christopher?
I knew a long time before, because I was involved in the writing of the show, so I knew a lot of where my co-stars were not privy to a lot of the secrets and stuff I was, and I knew way longer. I thought it made a lot of sense. I think it was a good decision.
Right.
Dramatically.
But also, it wasn't too much before it ended anyway.
No, it was the last season. It was, a couple of episodes.
Right. It's not like the character that gets killed off in like season 2 or something.
Like Vincent Pastore did, yeah. Big Pussy, that was a lot harder, I think, for him, seeing us go on and on for a few years. But he took it really well, and,
Was it like a family, or was it not like a family?
Yes, definitely. A lot of the actors I knew from before, because from other things. Edie and Vinny, Pastore and Sirico, and two of John Ventimiglia and Sharon Andrews I was in acting school with as a teenager. So this was like going down the corner and hanging with your friends every day.
What was the hardest episode to film?
Well, we shot that Pine Barrens episode, which was very physically demanding because we were in the snow and we weren't wearing a lot of clothes and it was cold. And yeah, it wasn't supposed to snow. It wasn't written to take place in the snow, but right before we shot it in the state park upstate New York, it snowed and blizzard, and it was actually magic for the episode because it added a whole other layer and dimension that wasn't predicted.
Are you telling me that wasn't in the Pine Barrens?
It was not in the Pine. It was in upstate New York. Pine Barrens didn't look as good. Some things don't look like they should on.
Hollywood in New Jersey. What do you miss most and least about about The Sopranos?
I miss most about The Sopranos is the camaraderie, the great work, the great scripts that we got to perform as actors.
And the least?
The least. I can't think of anything.
Okay, and the last question is, are you going to play Chrissy's dad in David Chase's prequel to The Sopranos?
I don't think I'm going to be in that movie. I think it would be very distracting to see some of us who were in the series be in the movie. I think it would take the viewers out. I don't know anything about, I heard it takes place in the late 60s and it's about Newark during this race riots, but I would imagine it's going to be something that really stands on its own, that doesn't really necessarily feel like an episode. My guess would be it's something that's going to be its own kind of world, whether or not there's characters that are early versions of the series characters is up, but I think it'll be probably great because it's David and probably something very different than the show. That's my guess. I have no inside scoop.